Hello, so I hope everybody has a lovely Easter weekend. So I'm going out tonight. I've dolled myself up and I can't wait to go out. I've really been struggling about something this week, and I didn't really want to kind of come on social media. I kind of was hoping that it would go away. But I feel like I want to say something in kind of hope that it would stop really, but I keep seeing some really not nice articles being printed about myself in the press, and I wanted to speak about it because it has been something that I've really struggled with this week, and it has made me feel like really low in mood. And I hope in me kind of speaking about it that it might kind of like come to a little bit of a stop. You know, I mean, I shouldn't really have to share things like this because they're kind of like my personal things, and, you know, I shouldn't have to. But I mean, honestly, when I say it, I always try and make a laugh and a joke with my friends about things, you know, and have a laugh about it. And that's how I kind of deal with things. But, you know, like there's been this articles in the press and stuff over this week saying, I mean, even I always try and laugh about things, but it's not funny, saying that I am skint or that I am broke, which is really not very nice. I'm actually not, but it's not a nice thing at all. It's no one's really business, but yes, I have lost a lot of money, but I don't owe anybody a penny. I can hold my head up high. I don't owe the HMRC any money. I pay my taxes. I'm a good person. I have good morals. I've always paid my taxes. I am not in any debt, you know, which that's great. And which I'm lucky to be in that position. But yeah, you know, I am a good person and I pay my taxes basically. I don't owe the HMRC a penny, and I can hold my head up high. And these kind of, you know, writing these kind of things is very degrading for me, and it's very humiliating. You know, and I really try to not let anything like in the press ever bother me, but, you know, I really have been upset about it. I read this article. I was in Inverness. I took my little one to Loch Ness, and I read this article just about before I was about to go into the boat, and honestly, honestly, I wanted to be like dumped in, like, you know, a loch, like a little island on the loch somewhere, and just stay there basically, because it's just really humiliating. It is bullying, and 100% it is bullying. And I've seen this so many times with so many different people with the press, and I really do hope and I really do believe that in time, in a few years, you know, I hope, or at least 10 years time to come, that kind of the press, like this kind of thing, this kind of bullying won't be allowed. And I will be so here for that day. But yes, I never actually moved my boyfriend into my house. The house that I live in, not like it's anybody's business, but the house that I live in is owned by my ex-fiance. We were together for 13 years. We've got 3 children together, and the house is owned by him. And also, you know, I'm really trying to work on, and, you know, having a good, nice relationship. And, you know, I feel like we've come to a point where, you know, we have a better relationship for the sake of our 3 children, which is something that is really important to me. And I know that he absolutely can't bear being in the press or anything like that. So, you know, it is, you know, my priority is obviously protecting my children. I mean, there is things that I would never talk about because I'm a mother and I will always protect my children. Also, I would just like to say that I never moved my boyfriend into my house. I asked my boyfriend to stay with me last year for a while because I don't like talking about this either because it's something so personal, but I really struggle actually with... Sorry, I don't want to get emotional about it, but I really struggle with sleep because I had a bad break-in, and I basically never really kind of came to terms with. So I always feel safer with a man in the house. So that's where that's from. I mean, honestly, I really don't like getting emotional, but it's just, you know, it does have an effect on my mental health when I see these headlines that, you know, it's very degrading and it's humiliating. and it is bullying, and I really do hope in time the press are kinder. And say, for example, even if I was skint or broke or whatever these things that they're saying about me, which I'm actually not, I've managed just to keep myself above water, but I don't owe anyone any money, but I've done so. I know that I'm a good person, and I know that I'm not a bully, and I know that I would never ever write anything like that, because I would think about that person and I would think about how they would feel. So I will never be that. So maybe one day I might be broke or skint, but at least I will be a nice person and I won't be a bully. I do wish the press would be kinder, and I did think that things were changing. And I always feel kind of like, I always feel for girls maybe that are in Love Island or that are kind of used to being in the public eye, and, you know, they get trolling and things like that. I always kind of feel a bit like, because I know how that feels like, and I always kind of like feel protective over those girls. I do have a 10-year-old, and I do worry, she's very sensitive, and I do worry about, you know, anything being said to her, because, you know, something was said to my daughter when she was at school about me and my driving license, and she was like really, really upset about it. So I just want to say that I have never drink drive. It's such a long story, and it's been such a nightmare, but I lost my driving license because my boyfriend drove my car, and it's just been a nightmare. Also, I really can't afford taxis. You know, I basically, it's just so ridiculous. Oh, I mean, I get bored of it myself, but basically, cut a long story short, I had no idea when I went to court for my boyfriend's driving offences that there would be loads of press in there. And I was just trying to explain, because people would assume that I'd be able to afford a driver, and I just wanted to explain that I actually can't. Anyway, I respect the law, and I respect, you know, the court's decision, and they took my driving license away. I just had to literally just deal with it. So I tried to explain, you know, that it wasn't like it was an easy option for me just to have a driver. Also, I did this lovely lady's podcast who does a podcast on decluttering, and she's regularly come to my house to kind of like help with organisation and stuff. So I basically spoke on her podcast about that we're moving house soon and just about downsizing, and the press have just got it. When it was just, I just wanted to go on this lady's podcast who was really nice, and just twisted it and made it into something horrible for me, and I really wish they didn't. But yeah, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm gonna have a few drinks, and I'm so excited because I've not had, actually, it's my turn to have the kids for Easter this time. I've not done an Easter egg hunt with Charlie for ages, so he's going to absolutely love it. I kind of feel like by doing this, it kind of makes me feel better, because I kind of feel with my social media that I can have some kind of control of the situation, or I can kind of say like how I feel about things. And by doing so, I really hope that these headlines kind of stop, because I didn't want to say anything, I was going to leave it, but then I looked again this morning when I was in a cafe with my daughter, and I saw another one be printed. So I'm just hoping by speaking that it does stop, because you kind of think to yourself sometimes, you know, when you have these kind of headlines written about you could be anywhere and you think, oh, I wonder what they think about me, or you know, and it does really affect like your mental health. And there was a time not so long ago that I would have been here if it wasn't for my kids. So yeah, I love this dress. I literally feel so nice in it. I need to take this back off. But yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely Easter. And yeah, usually I like to come on about a lot more positive things. But yeah.